Good evening. Fire officials say it was the work meant to repair damage from a fire last year that started a new fire inside the walls of a Thorncliffe Park high-rise.
Tonight, residents remain concerned they may be forced out of their homes again. CTV's Beth McDonnell is live at the scene with the very latest. What's the update, Beth?
Michelle, it's day 2 of this fire, and crews are still checking the building to make sure it's safe and monitoring the air quality. Residents are relieved they don't have to be out of their homes, but they aren't out of the woods just yet. It happened again. An unusual fire in the wall dividing 2 Thorncliffe Park condos is burning. This one now in its 2nd day.
It's very, very disturbing. I'm telling you, it's very, very hard on our mental states.
For Fatima Jan Mohammed and hundreds of others who live here, there is renewed trauma. Just 5 months ago in November, another fire smoldered in the same wall for over 2 weeks, forcing residents from 400 units out of their homes, either to stay with family or in hotels. This time, firefighters say they're closely monitoring the air quality and it's safe so residents don't have to leave.
Still kind of was leery to fall or go to sleep last night, but I just kept my ears open basically during the evening.
Fire Chief Jim Jessup says the investigation into the new fire is already complete. Crews doing remedial construction work on the 7th floor to make the condos safe after the initial fire were cutting into concrete. That ignited the insulation material in the wall.
There is still a lot of it in there from the original fire that had not caught fire. And so the fire yesterday was the same fiberboard that caught fire again.
The city says crews had permits to do the remedial work but have been ordered to stop. To finish, it's asked property engineers to produce a construction management plan.
And until that report is received, reviewed by the city, the work cannot continue.
Firefighters say some lessons have been learned since the fall. Crews knew which spots to spray foam, and previous access holes made getting at the fire easier. Some residents tell us communication has improved this time, but there is still anxiety.
Definitely now have bags packed at the door just in the event that they do evacuate us, so we just have to be ready.
No timeline has been shared as for when the fire in the wall may be extinguished. And so tonight, residents are crossing their fingers they won't have to leave with those packed bags. Reporting live, I'm Beth McDonnell. Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Beth. A man in his 20s has been pronounced dead following a collision involving a motorcycle in Roncesvalles. It happened just after 4 this afternoon near Dundas and Howard Park. This is a live shot of the scene. Now, police say the motorcyclist was involved in a collision with an SUV and became pinned underneath that vehicle. First responders were unable to save the motorcyclist. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Now, police say both speed and weather may have been a factor in the collision. Investigators also say it appears the SUV was stopped at the time of the crash. Police are looking for anyone who was in the area and might have dash cam video. Howard Park remains closed as the investigation continues.
Also tonight, a pair of tow truck drivers arrested for allegedly racing to a scene to secure a tow. The crash and charges against 2 men from Mississauga. A guilty verdict today in the case of 2 women charged in the death of a boy they were trying to adopt.
CTV's John Woodward has more from court and a warning. Some viewers may find the details in this story disturbing.
The things that came out are absolutely horrific. Nobody should have gone through what those kids went through.
A horrific experience inside this Burlington, Ontario home for 2 kids at the hands of their adoptive parents, Brandy Cooney and Becky Hamber. Adoptive parents who clearly hated the 2 boys, the judge found. Texts they tried to delete showed them calling the boys expletives, one a prisoner broken by Officer Hamber, as well as loser, moron, and it. Justice Conlon writing, I find that these disgusting labels were habitually used by both accused because they hated the boys. They loathed them. They deeply resented them having come into their lives and not having turned out to be what was expected. The boys were denied food, forced to exercise, zip-tied into wetsuits, also faced physical abuse. One text between the couple read in court said, you strangled him and threw him down. The 12-year-old died in a barren basement, profoundly underweight. The 10-year-old testified about years of abuse.
What grade 4 kid wants to run away?
Heartbreaking to hear for one educational assistant who said he told her he wanted to play football for McGill.
He was so smart, and he had such an old soul, and he was such a great person. and it really hurts to know that he won't get his dreams. It's just not fair.
There were gasps here in the courtroom in Milton as the judge decided not to stop at convictions for assault, failing to provide the necessaries of life and unlawful confinement, but convicted the couple of first-degree murder. The justice found both Hamilton and Ottawa Children's Aid Societies were negligent, as were some doctors. One boy's second-grade teacher said warnings were ignored.
It still affects me because I don't know what else I could have done to help these kids, and I don't know. I'm sure there's other kids that this happens to too, and there's not enough being done.
Ontario's government acknowledged problems.
We are working right across the system to make sure that we improve child welfare across this province.
A promise made years too late to protect these kids from the convicted killers who were supposed to be their parents. John Woodward, CTV News.
We have more news in a moment, but first to look at the forecast. There's a live shot of the city, clouds, and also light rain in some area, but it's going to get heavy in other areas. Lindsay Morrison has a look at the current conditions. Hey, Lindsay.
Hey, Nathan. Yeah, we had some moderate rainfall late this afternoon, and now we see the wet weather pushing into Prince Edward County. I'll step aside so you can see where the rain is right now in the west end of the GTA. If you're joining us from Waterdown over toward Clarkson, you've got showers once again, and the rain is steadier for areas like Stony Creek, Beamsville, Grimsby, and moving into the Niagara region. Temperature-wise right now, we have cooled down. We've been seeing the temperature fall all day long. We are at 11 degrees at Pearson Airport right now. That dropped from about 18 degrees to start off the day today. Winds out of the northwest once again. They are starting to settle down after some pretty breezy conditions at times earlier this afternoon. Here's tonight at a glance. So if it's cloudy where you are right now, you might get into a few showers before the evening is finished. And then overnight, depending on how that system tracks, we're either going to get a few showers or we're going to get some light to moderate rainfall once again. Lots to talk about in your weather forecast, including a below seasonal trend. That's all ahead. But for now, Nathan, back over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Still ahead, from Supreme Court Justice to Governor General. The Prime Minister named Louise Arbour to serve as the King's representative. Details coming up.
At Queen's Park today, Ontario NDP leader Marit Stiles was facing criticism over remarks she made suggesting Premier Doug Ford could be behind bars before the next provincial election.
But despite the pushback, the opposition leader wasn't apologizing for those comments. CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris joins us live with more. Siobhan.
Both the Premier and the Government House Leader are calling this language Trumpian, but Marit Stiles says she's not engaged in a race to the bottom when it comes to political dialogue. Ontario's opposition leader sees no need to apologize for comments about the Premier that raised eyebrows around Queen's Park.
Maybe you won't get another mandate because you'll be in prison, Doug.
The Government House Leader slammed that language during question period.
Dangerous, American-style, Trumpian rhetoric that, quite frankly, has no place in this legislature. Shameful.
Speaker, pretty rich coming from a government that is under RCMP criminal investigation.
That investigation of land removal from the Greenbelt was launched in the fall of 2023. Records tied to the process are accessible to the Mounties, but not journalists or the public. That's because of changes to the Freedom of Information Act.
I think I'm saying out loud what a lot of people are saying quietly, right? Which is that this is a premier and a government who have to answer to the people. If you have nothing to hide, why are you working so hard to hide things?
The premier isn't asking for an I'm sorry, but says
That Trump-style rhetoric is unacceptable as far as I'm concerned.
Doug Ford's been accused of engaging in that same kind of rhetoric going back to his 2018 campaign.
Doug Ford sounds like Donald Trump, and that's because he is like Donald Trump.
Those words from the then premier after Ford's campaign released this statement. If Kathleen Wynne tried to pull these kinds of shady tricks in private life, there would be more than a few Liberals joining David Livingston in jail. That's an ex-Premier McGuinty staffer who served time for deleting emails connected to the gas plant scandal.
Campaigns, you go back and forth, but now we're running government. And I think everyone should get together and collaborate when we can.
2 weeks ago, Ford faced heavy criticism for a dig at a Liberal MPP.
You know why the members down here? Because CP24 didn't want her anymore.
The Premier has since apologized. He draws distinction with what Stiles said.
Inside the legislature, words get said, but that one was over the top. And yes, we go back and forth, but she stepped over the line.
CTV political analyst Scott Reed doesn't believe the NDP leader's language is any accident. Instead, he sees it as part of a sharpening of attacks on the Premier to try and dig her party out of third place. Reporting live from Queen's Park, I'm Siobhan Morris. Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Siobhan. The FIFA World Cup arrives in Toronto next month, and work is underway to make sure things go as safely as possible. Today, the media were given a look at the Toronto Integrated Safety and Security Unit Area Command Center. This is where police and other agencies will be keeping an eye on the city during the tournament. It's equipped with technology such as drone footage and traffic cameras. It will allow officials to monitor activity in real time, including crowd movement and traffic conditions.
This is a state-of-the-art facility. It was built for FIFA, but in the future, it will serve as a legacy real-time operations center for the Toronto Police Service's day-to-day operations, and will be capable of supporting our major incident command structure, incorporating other police agency stakeholders for all the major events our city hosts every year.
This command center is part of the lasting legacy. It is a new resource we have available for managing all major events and also day-to-day operations, improving coordinations, response time, and public safety overall.
Toronto will host the first FIFA World Cup game on June 12th.
A pair of tow truck drivers have been charged after crashing at the scene of an accident in Mississauga. Police say on December 18th of last year, officers were assisting drivers involved in a crash at Mavis and the Queensway. The tow truck drivers, who police believe were racing to get to this scene, lost control and crashed. One struck a vehicle involved in the initial crash, while the other narrowly avoided an officer and a pedestrian. Both drivers left the scene. Two 30-year-old men are facing numerous charges, including dangerous operation and failure to stop after an accident. The RCMP has made several arrests and announced the seizure of nearly $3 million worth of drugs in a major operation in the GTA. Police say the 18-month-long investigation focused on a large-scale money laundering and drug trafficking operation. More than 30 search warrants were executed at multiple locations, 153 kilograms of cocaine, 10 kilograms of heroin, half a kilogram of ketamine, $1.6 million in cash, and an illegal gun were seized. 6 people are facing drug trafficking charges, while police are still searching for one suspect.
Gas prices are set to rise yet again tomorrow. Dan McTagg with Canadians for Affordable Energy is predicting a 7-cent jump at the pumps overnight. That would push prices at most GTA stations to $1.96 a liter. He also expects diesel to rise by 5 cents a liter amid the ongoing conflict between the U.S. and Iran in the Strait of Hormuz.
Every day, your prices go up. You'll hear a comment from the U.S. administration saying they will do this or they will do that regarding the Straits of Hormuz. The bigger issue is the amount of shortage that we have, a supply shock. It's 1.2 billion barrels that have been accumulated that we have to try to catch up on. It's going to take a long time to do that. In the meantime, it means higher prices as we head towards the $2 liter threshold, and that's likely just around the corner.
After tomorrow's jump, McTagg says gas prices could drop by 3 cents on Thursday. She comes to the Regal Post with an impressive and distinguished resume.
Louise Arbour has been appointed Canada's next Governor General. CTV's senior correspondent Judy Trin reports.
In choosing Louise Arbour as Canada's next Governor General, the Prime Minister recognized her dedication to upholding the law.
It's a duty that calls for sound judgment, deep learning, and an unwavering commitment to the rule of law.
The 79-year-old is a former Supreme Court justice who left her deepest mark on the global stage. She served as the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights and prosecuted war crimes in international tribunals. Arbour secured a conviction against perpetrators of genocide in Rwanda and indicted the leader of the former Yugoslavia.
In 1999, in the middle of a war, she signed the indictment of a sitting head of state, Slobodan Milosevic, for crimes against humanity and violations of the laws of war.
The appointment comes as the U.S. undermines global institutions. This is a reminder of what sets Canada apart.
Above all, we all strive to provide for each other in a spirit of equality and generosity.
Arbour's deep resume may help Carney avoid his predecessor, Justin Trudeau's problematic choices. Julie Payette was accused of abusing Rideau Hall staff, while Mary Simon, the first Indigenous Governor-General, is not fluent in French. But in a constitutional monarchy, as the King's representative, Arbour may not get support in Quebec, even though she speaks French and was born in Montreal.
The symbol in itself carries the idea of Canadian unity, but democracy in Quebec also carries the idea of Quebec independence.
Separatist voices are also growing louder in Alberta. Arbour promises to be a unifying force.
I think there is a space for the Governor-General to be conducive of Canadian dialogue with respect to diverse. I've mentioned the diversity of our people, diversity of views, of opinions, of experiences, but all that, I think, in a spirit of respect and moving the country forward.
Louise Arbour will officially assume her role as Canada's 31st Governor-General in early June. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
This is Red Dress Day, a national day of awareness for missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls and Two-Spirit people. Vigils were held across the country, including in Ottawa.
Our voices came to Parliament Hill in 2006 looking for justice. And 2026, we're still here asking for the same things. It really hurts to have to be here year after year to come and share our stories and talk about this and get donations to help our families while other organizations are getting funding.
Family and friends gathered to commemorate lost loved ones. Speakers also commented on Canada's progress a decade after the launch of the National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls. They also called for systemic change. Public health officials are trying to contain an outbreak of the rare Hantavirus on board a cruise ship marooned off the West African coast. 3 people are dead, 4 more are sick, and now the WHO suspects human-to-human transmission. CTV's John Vanavalley-Rao reports.
For passengers stuck on this ship, there remains a sea of uncertainty about when they'll be let off.
All we want right now is to feel safe, to have clarity.
The 147 on board remain anchored off Africa's Cape Verde, with officials now saying 7 possible cases of hantavirus were identified, including 3 deaths.
We have heard from quite a few people, on the boat. We hear you. We know that you are scared.
The WHO says passengers on board are being asked to remain in their cabins while disinfection measures are carried out. Ocean-Wide Expeditions, the company behind the cruise, says the atmosphere on board remains calm, despite the ship not being allowed to dock. On shore, it's a decision some in Cape Verde support. It's good that the ship remains at a distance, this woman says. Port denials are rare, but do happen. Most famously in Japan during COVID. The passengers of the Diamond Princess were quarantined on board for 2 weeks. While this British cruise ship was turned away at the port of Gibraltar in 2020 because of a norovirus outbreak.
I don't think these situations happen very often, but unfortunately, if they do happen, there's not much you can do about it.
Lauren Christie says while the cruise line has a duty of care for its passengers, it also has the same for the ports it's visiting.
And so really, first and foremost, it has to ensure the safety of everyone first. And unfortunately, that might mean that you're stuck on a cruise ship.
The hantavirus is usually spread by rodents, but is now thought to have been carried on board by a Dutch couple who died. Officials think it likely spread on board human to human, which is rare and requires close contact.
This doesn't sound like hantavirus is going to be a major issue on other cruises. It sounds like a sad but very rare event.
Meanwhile, the WHO says Spain has agreed to accept the vessel, but no decision has been made about where passengers will be allowed to disembark. John Vanavalley-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
In Ukraine, at least 22 people were killed and more than 80 others injured in another round of Russian attacks. The drone and missile strikes were carried out overnight and today. The Ukrainians say the Kremlin's main targets were energy facilities, oil and gas infrastructure, railways, and industrial sites. But the majority of casualties were civilians. The attacks also damaged homes, businesses, and transportation. Meanwhile, Ukraine kept up its long-range attacks on Russian areas, apparently going after more oil facilities. The fighting came hours before Kyiv is due to enact a ceasefire, and 3 days before Moscow promised its own pause in hostilities.
In the Middle East, the United States is pressing ahead with an operation to reopen the Strait of Hormuz to commercial shipping.
There is no international law that allows you to say, I'm going to put mines in an international body of water and I'm going to blow up ships that don't listen to us and try to go through. That's what Iran is doing. This is a criminal act, and someone needs to do something about it.
Marco Rubio insists the effort to escort stranded tankers through the strait is defensive in nature. He says that means there is no shooting unless the Americans are shot at first. The U.S. says it has successfully secured a path through the waterway, and hundreds of ships are lining up to go through. The Americans insist the shaky ceasefire with Tehran is holding. Meantime, the United Arab Emirates reported it was attacked by Iranian missiles and drones for a second straight day.
An iconic Vancouver landmark is being transformed ahead of the 2026 World Cup. Now, this is what it will look like when it's finished. Science World will become the Beautiful Dome, a giant recreation of the official match ball. The work begins tomorrow and will take around 4 weeks to complete. The dome will host an exhibit called Soccer and Technology from the FIFA Museum, looking at how innovation has shaped soccer's evolution.
Coming up, elevating the WNBA and women's basketball across the country. Bell Media announces a broadcasting and streaming partnership with the Toronto Tempo.
And I'm Pat Foran, coming up on Consumer Alert. If you've noticed when you're shopping that prices can seem all over the place, you'd be right. More stores are using dynamic pricing and changing prices more often. You have to stay on your toes to get the best deals possible. I'll have that story. That's just ahead.
So it's looking likely that we will at least get some wet weather over the next 24 hours here, and likely we will wake up to a few leftover rain showers. Here's that system. We're right on the northern edge of it. Coming up, I'll give you an idea of how much rain is in the forecast and what the rest of your week looks like heading into the weekend. That's after this break. Stay with us.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
More stores are now using algorithms and dynamic pricing, so you may see the cost of some goods change over a month, a week, or even a day.
Whether it's a lawnmower, a mattress, or a TV, it's wise to track prices of things you're hoping to buy. Here's Pat Foran with a Consumer Alert. Pat.
Thanks, Michelle and Nathan. Well, prices have always fluctuated. Snow blowers may be on sale in the fall, and again when it's time to clear them out in the spring. But with AI and dynamic pricing, it could be happening more often, so doing your research could save you money. Whether you're looking for a coffee pot or big-ticket purchases like appliances and mattresses, prices will fluctuate. There's been a lot of discussion about dynamic pricing, changing prices based on demand, but retail analyst Bruce Winder says that's not new.
If you get your weekly flyers, you'll see prices go down for a week and then they'll go back up. And then maybe 6 weeks later, they go down again.
Consumer Reports just tracked 16 popular products to give shoppers a clear picture of how prices rise, fall, and fluctuate. Take this Shark vacuum.
1 week it was like $119, and at its peak it was close to $200. So it would swing by $40 or $50 a week. We're seeing it with baby products, a lot of clothing and footwear.
While some retailers are experimenting with surveillance pricing in the U.S., where consumers are charged different prices based on their personal data, Winder feels it won't be prevalent in Canada.
Charging consumers different prices because they're different consumers is taboo. The reputational damage to the company would far eclipse any margin gain.
If you're trying to save money on electronics, consider buying an older model. TVs, phones, and laptops that are a year or two old can cost hundreds less. And consider refurbished products.
They take it, they clean it up, they replace parts, and you get it with a new 1-year warranty. I mean, there's no better deal in my mind than getting a refurbished item.
Certain items also go on sale at specific times of the year. AI can help research that. If you can hold off on a purchase, you could save money.
And you might find out that this is one of the items that is really used aggressively on Black Friday or Cyber Monday or Boxing Day, right? And if you can, you might wait.
And when you do buy something, continue to check the price of it weeks later. Some stores will refund the difference within a certain time frame if an item does drop in price. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
We'll take note as we head into the evening hours. It's cooling down, and especially with the wind, it doesn't help matters.
Yeah, good to know. You might hear, what, lightning, thunder tonight, or is it going to be calm?
Well, so I think we're going to get some wet weather, some rain, maybe some light showers. Thunder and lightning likely to stay south of the border. However, there's been a bit of a question mark on how this system is going to track. So if it stays a little bit further to the south, less rain, less shower activity for us. If it drifts a little bit further northward, it could be a bit of a soggy overnight. Before we talk about our local weather, I want to bring you to beautiful British Columbia, where, depending on your perspective, it may be extra beautiful right now. There has been record heat in Victoria, where you can see this video. This was just yesterday. And in Vancouver, similar situation. Meanwhile, in the interior of British Columbia, temperatures have been soaring to about 30 degrees. Now, it is a little bit cooler in parts of British Columbia today, but it's a pretty nice looking outlook weather-wise, very dry. I say nice for us because I think that many of us would welcome conditions like this, but it's not great looking ahead into the summer season. It's been extremely dry in British Columbia, so they could probably use some of our rainfall. Meanwhile, temperature comparison, 15 degrees in Victoria right now, 10 degrees at Toronto Pearson. And we've got some of that rain that I think some of our friends in British Columbia could use. Let's talk about what's to come through the overnight hours. Again, notice how this is right along the international border, this disturbance. A lot of the rain is going to fall stateside, but some parts of southern Ontario are being clipped through the night tonight and into the day tomorrow. It's not looking like a lot of rain for us, maybe 5 millimeters, but you journey to areas like Niagara Falls or Kingston, upwards of 20 millimeters of rain expected there through day's end tomorrow. This is about 3 o'clock in the morning, so it does look right now, based on our weather models, that the system is going to drift northward, and that would mean some light rain for us overnight, lingering showers into tomorrow morning, and a cloudy start. I see signs of perhaps some clearing in the afternoon. It'd be nice to enjoy some dry, sunny breaks for your second half of the day on Wednesday. And then Thursday starts off with sun. Can't rule out the possibility of some pop-up showers in the afternoon. And then heading into Friday, there's potential for it to be another unsettled day. It's also going to be below seasonal. So that's the other part of our weather story this week. Not tonight. We are near normal. 6 for the low, 7 is the average overnight temperature this time of year. Let's talk about tomorrow. So daytime high about 12, 17 is the average. So it is going to feel a bit cooler out there tomorrow also because of northeasterly winds this time. Little journey across the southern part of our province shows, yes, double-digit highs in many areas, but for some, slipping out of the teens. We will be back into the mid-teens as we make our way into the weekend. And hopefully there will be some periods of sun, but we're also watching for some showers, especially on Sunday. And don't forget, that's also Mother's Day. That's your look at the weather for now. Nathan, over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Also tonight, going full circle to raise money for a worthy cause. We meet a woman who ran for a charity she ended up using. A family's medical journey next.
Thousands of runners will be taking over Yonge Street this Sunday for a children's charity.
As our health reporter Pauline Chan tells us, the Mother's Day event is for Campfire Circle.
When Lisa Filciano first ran in the Sporting Life 10K, it was for fitness and because it was a good cause.
Never did I think I would have the same personal connection to it that I do today.
But when her son was born,
Will was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia when he was 7 days old.
He went through treatment and has grown into a happy, active 4-year-old. And through his medical journey, Campfire Circle was there supporting his family.
They would watch Will, they would play music, they would sing lullabies. But Jeff and I got to go and grab a coffee, take a walk around the block, get some air. And it's just so important when we were literally living in the hospital 24 hours a day.
Every day in children's hospitals across Ontario, Campfire Circle's program staff deliver camp-inspired programs to kids who are medically fragile, who are spending long periods of time in the hospital, away from friends and school and family.
This weekend's Sporting Life 10K is their major fundraiser.
24,000 people, I mean, that's a new record for the Sporting Life 10K. And new this year, we'll be ending our finish line is in the Corktown Commons. So rather than go west, we're going east. And it accommodates for FIFA and the World Cup, which is coming.
Money raised will help support the programs, which are completely free for families dealing with childhood cancer or other serious conditions.
What's special about Campfire Circle is that we can provide intravenous chemotherapy and blood transfusions, so kids who otherwise would never be able to go to an overnight camp can receive the medical care that they need.
The Sporting Life 10K is now completely sold out, but you can still support Campfire Circle by donating through their website, campfirecircle.org. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Several Canadians have received nominations for this year's Tony Awards, celebrating the best on Broadway.
Music, skipping a beat, singing a dream.
Hamilton-born actress Casey Levy's up for Best Leading Actress in a Musical for her role as Mother in Ragtime. It's based on the 1975 novel of the same name. Other Canadians include costume designer Linda Cho, who was raised in Toronto. She's nominated for 2 Tonys, and Lee Kinney is in the running for acting. The Tonys will be handed out June 7th.
From Beyonce to Emma Chamberlain and Canada's own Hudson Williams, Met Gala guests didn't hold back this year, showing up in costumes that turn the fashion is our dress code into a full-on showcase. The annual fashion show and fundraiser for the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Costume Institute, once again bringing the glitz and glamour. This year's exhibit, Costume Art, explores the relationship between the body and clothing, drawing connections between garments and objects throughout the museum's collection. This year's gala was also met with protests outside the event aimed at billionaire Jeff Bezos, who sponsored the gala for the first time. He and his wife reportedly made a $10 million donation and were named honorary chairs of the event. The move sparked calls from critics to boycott the Met Gala over wealth inequity and workers' rights. Here in Toronto, it bills itself as creating a citywide campus for the creative economy.
What was once known as Canadian Music Week is now the Departure Conference and Festival, and its 2026 edition is underway. CTV's Andrea Case is live tonight at the opening night cocktail reception. Andrea.
Hey, Nathan and Michelle, I'm at Blue Bovine on Front Street, and yes, Departure Festival and Conference. This is their kickoff cocktail party, and you can hear the DJ is spinning the tunes. I'm going to spin right over here to Kevin Barton, who's the executive director, one of them here for the festival. Kevin, if you want to get a hotel room in the city right now, it's pretty hard to get a hotel room. What's going on?
We have Departure Conference and Festival happening here in Toronto all week long. I'd like to describe it as more than a conference and festival. We're calling it a cultural marketplace, if you will. And that's happening here at our host hotel, which is the Fairmount. We have stages operating at the St. Lawrence Centre for the Arts and at Transmission Studio, which we've taken over and called Departure House. We also have over 30 venues and over 100 artists performing during this week. And 2 of our Jewel Crown award ceremonies. We have the Live Music Awards taking place tomorrow. And on Thursday, we have the Departure Honors, where we're honoring some of the greatest creators that we have to offer the world. We have Maggie Kang coming through, which is the creator of K-pop Eating Hunters. We have Jacob Tierney, the the director of the hit smash show, Heated Rivalry. Yeah. We have the Grammy Award-winning Sarah McLachlan passing through as well. We have hype person and also owner of the Tempo, Lily Singh, passing through. It's going to be a star-studded evening. We have performances by Katie Tupper. We have performances by many great artists happening this week. Wild Rivers is also performing at the award show. It's a packed lineup.
So this is the reason why he's the executive director, because he remembered everything that's going on. What is the one thing you're most looking forward to?
I think the departure honors. It's an opportunity for us to celebrate. You know what I mean? And we're celebrating some great Canadians that are going to be on that stage that are making global impact. And I think that's a big part of it. But I think the thing I'm most looking forward to is just watching people being able to connect, people that are now looking at worlds that are so surrounded by digital, that are out here and enjoying it and having conversations. And the creative community has really showed up this year. So I'm really happy.
Yeah. Second annual, and it's getting bigger and bigger every year. More than 3,000 people attending, and so many more attending all the shows and concerts. So that is it here from Blue Bovine. I'm going to send it back to you, Michelle and Nathan, and maybe party a little bit. Back to you. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Craving a sweet, dairy-free treat? Well, this vegan ice cream spot serves up creamy, dreamy, and inventive plant-based flavors. Come inside with me as we get the real scoop and find out what's on the menu. From mint chip to Easter cream, these house-made ice creams are out of this world. Scoop them in a gluten-free oat waffle cone, grab a pint, or indulge in a cookie sandwich. Pure plant-based bliss. Okay, Ashley, anyone who's been watching me over the last 2 decades in broadcasting knows that ice cream is either my kryptonite or my superpower, so I'm very excited for this assignment. Tell me about Honey's Ice Cream. How do you differentiate yourself from other ice cream places in the city?
Well, Honey's is a dairy-free ice cream shop. We're just kind of a neighborhood hub. I think it's the best ice cream in Toronto, but it's absolutely the best dairy-free ice cream.
And coconut and cashew are just such creamy substitutes to begin with, so I can't wait to try this. So what have you brought out here? What are some of the variety of things you sell here at Honey's?
We make our own cream eggs in-house.
Oh, wow. Okay, it's tasting time. Oh, it's so soft.
Mm-hmm. Nice little sugar rush.
Wow, that's really good. I shouldn't be surprised, but wow. Okay, so what is this?
Okay, so this is our cookies and cream ice cream sandwich.
Wow.
We make fresh chocolate chip cookies, and then we have a cookies and cream ice cream inside, which we also make our own in-house Oreos for.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
That's really good.
Sugar Rush City today.
Stop filming me. With every bite bursting with flavor, this vegan ice cream spot proves that plant-based can be both indulgent and unforgettable. Full details at cp24.com.
Canada exported more in March than it imported, and that's a reversal from February. B&M Bloomberg's Marella Fernandez has more.
The trade surplus, as it's called, was about $1.8 billion in March, and it is the first one we've seen in 6 months. Exports increased 8.5%. Imports fell 1.6%. Canada exported more gold and energy to the world, with the start of the war in Iran paralyzing the Strait of Hormuz. And about $49 billion worth of cars and light trucks were sent to the U.S. in March, and that's the highest it's been in a year. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 73.40. West Texas Intermediate down over $4 to 102.27. Western Canadian Select up over $5 to 83.88. And the TSX lost 71 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marella Fernandez.
Home sales in the GTA rose 7% in April. The Toronto Regional Real Estate Board says sales were up on a year-over-year basis for a second straight month. The average selling price was down 4.9% compared to last year at just over $1 million. However, inventory was also down 6.4% with about 25,000 active listings in the GTA.
George Springer returns to the lineup as the Blue Jays continue their series with the Tampa Bay Rays tonight.
This lends itself to his strategy. 2-2 is lined and down in left field. Pinyango got a good job. He'll get the wave. The throw from Simpson goes into...
The Jays scored in the top of the third last night, but that was all the offense they could muster. They ended up losing the game 5-1. First pitch for tonight's game is set for 6:40. Kevin Gausman gets the start for the Jays.
2 days after his team was eliminated from the playoffs, the Toronto Raptors head coach held his year-end news conference this morning, and Darko Rajakovic spoke about some areas where there's room for improvement.
We did a good job this year with defense and the way how we're guarding the ball. I think us having more of a paint protection is something that we can take a look at. I think continue to develop offensive side of the ball with individual improvement of players on their shooting is going to be very, very important for us. So those are the main things for us to focus on.
The coach also says players being in elite condition is crucial, so they will be confident in their bodies to dominate at both ends of the floor. Rajakovic is already working toward next season. He says he has about half of his first team meeting prepared.
The WNBA and Bell Media have announced a multi-year agreement to broadcast and stream games in Canada, beginning with this season. As part of the deal, Bell Media will be the official media partner of the Toronto Tempo. The deal will see coverage of the team, as well as other WNBA matchups, the league's draft, all-star game, and playoffs. A select number of Tempo games will also air on CTV and stream on Crave. The schedule will be announced later this season. CTV News is a division of Bell Media.
The odds aren't great, but Leaf fans are hoping their team can come away from tonight's NHL draft lottery with the #1 pick. The Buds have an 8.5% chance of selecting first overall in next month's entry draft, or perhaps second, because there will be 2 draws this evening. Fans will also be watching to see whether Toronto keeps its first-round pick. The Leafs currently have the 5th selection, but if any team below them in the draft order wins one of the 2 draws, Toronto will have to send that 5th pick to Boston as part of a trade deal in 2025. At 18.5%, Vancouver has the best odds to get the first selection.
Just ahead, home away from home. We pay a visit to a place considered an oasis for children with medical complexities, now looking to expand and turning to the community to help open its doors to more families.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
It has been a source of support for families who are facing complex medical challenges, and now the Darling Home for Kids wants to expand its services.
To do so, they're turning to the community for help. CTV's Raheem Ladani has the story.
Love the trees.
Within this tranquil oasis on the Niagara Escarpment is a home where hundreds of children, like Joshua and his family, receive high-quality personal care.
You know when you drop him off for a stay that he's going to get the same care here that he does at home. And it gives you a lot of confidence as a parent. So when you go away, you're just like, you know he's in a good place.
Joshua was born at 25 weeks, weighing 1 pound 5 ounces. He lives with cerebral palsy, and even though he's nonverbal, this home video captures his expression the moment he pulls up to the Darling Home for Kids.
He was here just before his birthday one time, and they had a birthday party, a zombie-themed birthday party. They went out of their way for something for him.
Set on a 77-acre lot in Milton, the organization has been offering respite, residential, and palliative care for more than 2 decades. From multisensory crafts to clinical spaces, the Darling Home for Kids caters to children with medical complexities. And now they're expanding. How far are we building out?
So we're adding 10,000 square feet, so we have a new wing coming to the south.
Construction is well underway on specialized medical suites, enhanced therapy spaces, and more bedrooms.
The expansion broke ground in 2023, but rising construction costs after the COVID-19 pandemic has left a $1 million shortfall, which is preventing this vision of serving more kids from becoming a reality.
When you make a donation to the Darling Home for Kids, you are directly impacting the lives of children with medical complexities. There's a real and tangible difference. And so together, we know that we can reach the finish line, but we're really relying on the community to help get us there.
Swarming and teeming loud, clapping. And fathers like Michael Black have seen firsthand how his almost 5-year-old son, Rowan, thrives in the facility, while also giving him a chance to recharge.
He absolutely loves the friends he makes here and the activities that they get to do here. And it's great for my wife and I that we get to, have a break and get to be together, or get to be with other friends, or get to experience just a little bit of a break.
And finding funding for the expansion is an opportunity to help other children reach their full potential. Raheem Ladani, CTV News.
Oh,
such a great story.
Looks like a beautiful place. Let's hope they reach their milestone. Weather-wise, okay, so is there more rain? It's definitely going to be cool in the evening.
Yeah, it's already a little bit cool out there right now. The winds have been quite strong, but they're settling down now, so that's some good news. I want to take one more look at the radar. This is going to give you an idea of who's getting rain at the moment, or at the very least some showers. It's interesting because depending on how this front tracks, we could get clipped with a fair amount of wet weather through the night tonight. It's dry right now in the city. However, there's still lots of opportunity for this to drift a little further northward and bring us at least some rain through the overnight hours tonight. And then tomorrow, we're talking about just some leftover showers, maybe a few new popping up in the late morning, but the afternoon should be drier with hopefully some sunny breaks. It is, however, going to be cool. Look at the next couple of days here. These are below seasonal highs. We should be reaching highs in the upper teens. Around 17 degrees is the seasonal average, so a little cool, especially into the day on Friday. Slight temperature rebound over the weekend, but we're watching for the possibility of showers both Saturday and Sunday. Looks like a nice, but again, still below seasonal start to next week on Monday with a high of 13 and a mix of sun and cloud. Michelle and Nathan.
Thank you, Lindsay. That's it for us, but be sure to join Omar Sachedina tonight at 11 for CTV National News, followed by Zoraida Allman with your next local newscast at 11:30.
Meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and all of us here at CTV News, thanks for watching and have a great night.